Hello, hello, hello. How is everyone on tonight? How are you doing? My name is Darin Kent, and I am the Chief Communications Officer of the A.M.E Zion Church. I am also the editor of the Star of Zion, and I am pleased to come to you once again on tonight, invading this space to talk about media and how it relates to our ministry. We got this segment that we're continuing to do, and it's called Media Minds. And I'm going to be bringing on special guests every first Tuesday of the month, and we are wanting them to come on and just chop it up with me a little bit and go behind the scenes and give y'all practical tools and tricks for your ministry, and how you're able to, develop your brand and develop your churches, your organizations, and things of that in the future. So I'm pleased today to bring on some of my favorite people on this earth. They come in the likes of Reverend DeAndre James Daniels and the Reverend Sam Brown. Now, both are pastors in their own right. One pastors the Logan Temple A.M.E Zion Church in Knoxville, Tennessee. That's Reverend Sam Brown. And then First Church A.M.E Zion Church in Ohio is Columbus, Ohio, is the pastor, Reverend DeAndre James Daniels. Listen, I'm going to step back a little bit, bring them on. We're going to chop it up a little bit. We're going to talk really about the Connectional Council. We just came out of a huge meeting in the A.M.E Zion Church, and it's a chance for our elected officials, our general officers, to all go before our boards and be held accountable to report on everything that we've done in the life of the church over the past year. So we just came out of that on last week. It was in Concord, North Carolina, at the Embassy Suites Hotel. And we put on a major production. We'll speak from the communication side of that production, but these two individuals are who I chose in order to have come on and work in the communications department and lead that venture. Now, I didn't know it was going to be in my absence at the time. I still had anticipated that I was going to be on site and to have these two spearhead the different elements that we'll go into in a minute. But I caught COVID, and due to health and safety protocols, of course, wasn't able to attend. And not to mention, I also had twins, which decided to come just a few days right before Connectional Council. So all of that kind of led to the fact that I wasn't able to be in attendance, but I had these two dynamic individuals come through, show up as they always do. So this is not just a one-off thing. Every time they're asked to do something, they show up. And we're going to take you through that process of just the selection of them, the team, the identification of responsibilities, and then how we implemented and executed at a grand level in order to get things done on behalf of the A.M.E Zion Church. So let me stop talking and bring our special guest on, Reverend Sam Brown. How are you doing, sir?
What's up, Mr. Editor? How are you?
I am doing just fine. Now,
Awesome.
Reverend Brown, he feels like he needs to come from a different angle of this whole thing. I want him to relax because, yes, he's an employee of the Star of Zion. He is definitely working. And if you want to say I'm his boss or so to speak, whatever. We're throwing all that out right now. We want you to chop it up and come from the respect of the assignment that was given to you at the Connectional Council, and then how we work through it all as a team together. And then I'm going to bring on the Reverend DeAndre James Daniels. How are you doing, sir?
Hello. What's up? What's up? Let's I guess we can be slightly informal tonight. So let me do the proper way. How are you, sir? I'm Mr. General Officer, Chief Executive of the Star of Zion, Yakety Schmackety. What's up, boy?
All right. So he's coming from that angle because this is a lifelong friend of mine. We come from the same city. We had the same best friend, rest in peace, David Bradley. And that bonded us together, and we've been pretty much inseparable ever since, growing in the church, growing in ministry, and here to serve at the highest level now. And it's just a joy to be able to work with my brother and friend at this level. So listen, I'm going to be asking a lot of the questions. I might know the answer to some of them, but I really want to get your perspectives. Take us through the perspectives of how you look at this from a pastor, because both of you are pastors. I can't speak to that angle, but how you look at it on that side, but then also having this media background that you're developing as we go on, and that I'm pushing you from the communications department of the A.M.E Zion Church to do, and then how all of that is meshing together to become what it is. So like I said, and I'll just set the stage here. We had to identify responsibilities, right? So we had to come to the table together, and that was on me at first to say, what do we need to accomplish when we're doing an event of this nature and this size, right? We were told from the Public Affairs Department and Reverend George McCain that we're going to have 600 people in a ballroom. We were told by our Board of Bishops that they needed to have capabilities to live stream the worship services only, not the business sessions. We were told that we need to be able to have a Zoom link, a private link that was given to one of our bishops that was not able to attend. We were told that we need to have some services that were available to some people in the boardrooms on day one, and then that transferred into the ballroom and became like an exclusive ballroom event on days 2 and 3. So we did a Monday, a Tuesday, and a Wednesday. And when we heard all that, then it's on me to sit back and say, okay, these are the people that I need to get this done. And I needed 2 team leads, right? We're coming from the Star of Zion side, which is the official organ of our church. So we always got to be reporting on the news and making sure everything is being displayed and seen inside of the A.M.E. Zion Church through the Star of Zion. So that was necessary to have a team lead. So that's when the managing editor, Reverend Sam Brown, came in, and he took the lead in that area. And then we needed somebody to lead the communications department of the A.M.E. Zion Church as well, and to be able to work through that media and that tech. Now, physically on site, that looked like Reverend Brown taking care of the Starcast, which was in the hallway, and I'll have him go into what that preparation all looked like, because again, I wasn't on site, so he can take you all through that. And then the inside the ballroom and inside the rooms and assisting the people on site that needed assistance, that was under the communications department lead. So I'm going to have them go one by one and take you through our meetings, our planning. I'll interject from time to time, but I really just want to get their perspective moving forward on that. Now I'll piggyback and ask them some questions. And also, as we're having this conversation, as always, if you have questions about anything that we're talking about here, feel free to interject. I'll start running some questions on the screen. I'm producing as I'm talking this show. So if you see me looking down, that's just me clicking the button to get the comments on the screen and just keep this flowing and moving. But if you have any questions or comments moving forward, please just give that to us in the chat, and we'll try to answer those questions live. So let's start off with Reverend Sam Brown. Take us through preparation of your team that you identified, and then how we implemented the Starcast on site.
Absolutely. Thank you for this opportunity. It was absolutely a team effort, and something that required of everybody participating to have trust in each other's capabilities and our competencies. The team that we put together had already a proven track record of excellence. Either they had worked with DK or myself or DeAndre, or we had seen their work before, and they had a specific understanding of the knowledge that needed to be implemented for this program to really be successful. So big shout out to those who gave us support on the technical side. Reverend Raimondo Brady, who is the pastor of the Seals Creek A.M.E. Zion Church in Western North Carolina Conference, and to his wife. Her name escapes me at the moment, but to Mrs. Brady, thank you for your help. And to Mrs. Dana Moore Radcliffe, who was absolutely phenomenal in her role as a production manager, and just really helping things to come together. And then once we had assembled that team, those that could actually make the pieces move to pull this together, we needed some personalities that really would be able to host this Starcast and would be able to convey to our viewers, members of the A.M.E. Zion Church and those who are not members of the A.M.E. Zion Church, what is happening here on site. And we landed on Miss Ashley Charles, and Reverend Brandon Moore, pastor of the Faith A.M.E. Zion Church in Atlanta, Georgia. And Ashley is a layperson, very active leader in our church, former Miss Livingstone, Episcopal Director of Christian Education for Mid-Atlantic, and just all around a great woman of God. Unfortunately, Brandon was unable to be with us because he had some family matters that he needed to attend to, but there's always a ram in the bush. And it's just something about Brandon's, I'm telling you.
Right.
About Brandon's. Reverend Brandon Fisher, pastor in the California conference, was able to come in and step in, stand in the gap to host there with Ashley, and did a phenomenal job doing that. It was really, really well executed by the two of them. And the purpose for the Starcast, just so everyone can understand, is so that we can sort of create an experience for those who are not joining with us on site at these meetings, so that they will be able to be engaged as much as possible, as best as possible with what's going on. The Star of Zion is the communications link of the denomination. And through the wisdom of our restructuring commission in 2016, we now have this larger overarching communications department. And for the first time, and I will say in my lifetime, our in-house talent was trusted with the resources to pull this off. So I would, if I may, would just love to thank our board of bishops for trusting our chief communications officer and editor-in-chief with the resources necessary. And I will say it again, this was all done in-house. This was all done in-house, all by members of the Freedom Church. So there's an innate appreciation for what we're doing. There's an vested interest in this being successful. And so we had to come together with the skills that we have, the knowledge that we have of the church, and work simultaneously, hand in hand, with our friends and our brothers and sisters on the communication side under Reverend DeAndre James Daniels' leadership, that we could really represent and show through our work, through this Connectional Council meeting, what it is the communications department is here for and what we have been charged to do. I mean, to be honest, by the General Conference. And so this is something that was done through legislation. We have this communications department now, and now you are seeing the product, and we're so grateful to be a part of it. So we had to get all of that together. We had to reach out to persons who are in leadership so that they can share with you what's happening in their various departments. If you are not there and are not able to maybe get your hands on a report, but you can still be uplifted and be inspired by what is happening, the great things that are happening in our departments. And I'll say this before I pass it off to DeAndre. DK, you asked a question as far as a pastor, what do I appreciate most about it? And what I appreciate most about it is members, the members here at Logan Temple that I serve have an opportunity to once more be plugged in to the highest levels of our church, and to see the fruits of what they have been investing in for years, for generations.
Wow.
I have people in Logan Temple that have been here that all the way back to when the church was organized in 1865, and they see, oh, wow, that's, this is something I remember reading about that in the Star of Zion. I remember Bishop talking about that at checkup meeting. I remember and they're seeing this, unfold and manifest. So it really is a blessing to be able to be used as a vessel to really show show the people of the A.M.E. Zion Church how their resources are being put to good use.
I want to piggyback on some things that you said, and then we'll let Reverend DeAndre James Daniels give his comments. You mentioned the Board of Bishops. You mentioned the trust that was given to us, was given to not just the communications department, but the general officers in general. There's a shift going on. Y'all feel it. Y'all know that they are definitely allowing us to work within our purpose, work within our gift areas, and begin to give the recommendations and the advice, and allowing us to execute to perfection the way that we know that we can do. And that has come over time. It is where it is right now, and we appreciate our bishops for allowing us to have this space in order to be as creative and to be as free and to be as respectful to the process as possible. So I just want to personally just say thank you to the bishops. Thank you for, and I'm being real straight up, for the monetary blessing that was injected into the Star of Zion in order for us to do this. Like, they saw that we have these abilities, so now they're investing in it financially. They're backing it up. The Star of Zion, yes, we need your subscriptions, we need your money, but they're matching that, and they're working with us to get the word out even better than it's been in the past. So thank you, bishops. Thank you, general officers, for also collaboratively working with us through this process, for thinking through it ahead of time, because anything that I come to the team with, I've already chopped it up with most of you behind the scenes, and then we're again executing what we've already spoke of on the general officer level as well. So I thank my colleagues, and I thank the Board of Bishops for everything they said. Reverend James Daniels, take us away, man. Tell us from the communication side.
Yeah, well, thanks again, Brother Kent, for the opportunity again to work with Reverend Brown in this experience to serve at your pleasure, right? So let me start here. A lot of respect has to go to the Board of Bishops and our church leadership because they trust us, but also have a level of expectation. And when those things collide together, the trust and the expectation, what I share with my team is this is a no-fail mission. Failure is not an option in this. We cannot fail, period. There's nothing we can do that can be failure. Whatever we have to do in order to be successful. And that's the way in which we approached it, because God gave our bishops a vision. They trusted us with moving forward with this and trusted you with moving forward with the vision. And we got to represent God in our church in that way. It was really good. And I'll get to the team, but that vision and that view of what's coming next and the excitement I think that our church leaders have, knowing that this is all done by the A.M.E. Zion church members, that we're really putting in energy. Bishop Thompson was preaching. Let me set the stage. You know, Bishop Thompson was preaching, and he was talking about the hotel staff that was in his room serving during the meeting, and talked about that experience. And he talked about the hotel staff seeing that red cross on his lapel. Now, we had no idea that he was going here, right? We had no idea where he was going. But one of the things we know is just about church. And he's preaching about hope in Christ, and he begins to say hope in Christ in Spanish. We're sitting there having church, and something happens that says, get hope in Christ in Spanish on these screens right now. Right. And that's what we did. We got on the screen, and you should have saw the response from the stage from the Episcopates. They had screens on the stage. They could see what was on the screens. And you should see him pointing at the screens like, look. And the excitement that they had communicated to me that we're doing something right. That's right. We're communicating the message of Zion and getting that out to the people across the entire world, right? You allowed us to serve, gave us a great team. Brandon Smith, Hayden Thompson on the congregational camera, Brother John Butler on the pulpit camera, Brother Rod Josie on a musician left-hand side camera. The team was just absolutely amazing that you gave us to be able to really work in their gifts. That's something that Reverend Brown said. People were happy to work inside of their gift areas, and because they were so smart, we were so smart, so gifted, and no one was intimidated by anybody else's gift area. And I think that comes from you, Mr. Editor, kind of the way in which you kind of just say, hey, get it done. Do it. Get it done. Figure it out. Make it happen, but don't slack. And people felt that way. They just really, really worked well in their gift areas to make the ministry of Jesus Christ go over well to the best of our abilities. And it was a joy to know that This is the Freedom Church. We are members of the Freedom Church. We give from a pastor's perspective. We give every single Sunday in our offerings to make sure our church is able to do the work of Christ. Portions of that go to the Connectional Church. And sometimes people get confused about where the resources are and how they're being used and where they could go. And you were able to see resources being poured into us, invested into us, money being used in our church and going around in a circle and not leaving the denomination. And then the user was able to experience a high quality production. And that's because of the trusted leadership, your leadership, Brother Kent, and then the commitment of people on the team. We can talk about all the kind of nuances of going on in the meeting, but that's basically how it was set up. And what we're trying to kind of flow with.
Yeah. Listen, the opportunity to do what we did shouldn't be taken for granted, right? And we're gonna be real, because this is Media Minds, and we're gonna take them through the nitty gritty of how this was put together now, and start to dive in. But let's just start off by going through what each person's responsibility was on your team. Now, we said the names and everything like that, right? But what did they directly have to do? What was their assignment? And then how did that assignment then have to, they were working in their gift areas, but how did they have to navigate, and how did you have to manage those assignments that were given to you, right? And did you see a need, and be real, like, did you see a need for, we needed one more person, or we didn't need this person, or we needed more, take us through all of that. You want to talk about equipment now as well. I know we've spoken offline. Do we need to go to another level of equipment to be able to communicate better on the back end so that the production is better moving forward? And before you answer that, and we'll start off with Reverend DeAndre in that world, I do want, because I would be remiss if I just gloss over everything that was done in the past, right? This has been done. This example is not something that we came up with, right? In the past, Reverend Kathy Brown, with Truthville, she invested in me to come there, take pictures, take video, Freedom Film Festival, right? That's investing in Zion to say that you are gifted in this area. We're going to allow you to work in this space. This has been happening. Sister Crystal Bailey has been doing this all over the world and all over Zion and stuff like that. And Brother Reverend Coloma Smith has been doing this. And I'm name a myriad of other people. Vaja way back in the day. They have all set the stage for where we are right now. The chosen people that I came with to this group has a lot to just do with team building, comfortability, trust, and everything like that at that level, just for me at this moment. Not to say that I'm never going to include or bring other people in, because we want everybody to be a part of this process moving forward. We want to build all of our systems. Right now, I'm telling you, we hired a photography company, right? And we hired a sound company. We can do that, right? Crystal Bailey, I know right now, has that equipment. You don't think we're going to be reaching out to her to try to see if she would be available, not just for the Women's Home and Overseas Missionary Society, which she does faithfully every single time, but to bring those resources and other people like that to bring their resources and work that in the A.M.E. Zion Church, because we want to support Zion, by Zion, start with us, then go to the African-American race. And then from there, if we have to go outside the box, okay, then we can, try to get the job done with whoever we can get it done with. But I just wanted to mention that this is not a new model. We're just working in this model and trying to perfect it and trying to work in this gift. And we are not excluding anybody. We want everybody's gift. We want the graphic designers. We want the photographers. We want the videographers. If you hear me right now talking, trust me, reach out to me, cco@amezion.org, and tell me, give me your resume, let me know what you're available to do, and trust me, this production of this quality is not going backwards, it's only going forward. So we want to get you in the fray. Take a step back, take us through the process of managing the roles and describing what each role was. Let me start with you, Reverend DeAndre.
Yeah, you did good setting that up. People like, if it wasn't for people like George McCain, right? Seeing him do what he has done over my whole life. None of the possibility of doing anything this past weekend would have been possible.
Right.
Just watching him and all the groundwork he laid for this meeting, right, to make it possible. So you had Brandon Smith, who was managing the live portions of the worship experience, choosing which cameras to go live, deciding which views we would see, right? But then he was responsible for making sure the connections worked. There were thousands of connections between cameras and computers and soundboards that had to happen. And Reverend Brandon Smith was responsible for all that. It was pretty much, Brandon, here's it, do it. And he was like, get out of my way, I got it. And making it happen in such a way that was absolutely amazing. Managing him was like, just identify our the things we need to get done and just get out of my way. And it was a joy to get out of his way. Reminding of kind of how you put together these smart people at our local churches, putting together smart people who are not intimidated by other smart people and then getting out of their way. It was a funny moment between Brandon and John. John is a helper. John is trying to, I'm going to help. If there's a fire and we got to fight the fire, I'm jumping in the fire too. I don't care what's going on. Yes. Brandon's the type like, I'm in the tunnel and I got it what's going on. Let me see what's up. And if I need help, I'll scream. And, John was trying to help. And Brandon was like, I got it. Just I can go. I got it. Go back to the camera. Right. And John is like, I want to help you. Brandon's like, no, I got it. Go back to the camera.
That is helping me. By going back to the camera, you helping me.
And I'm like, Brandon's not using the cameras anymore. I'm like, yeah, go back to the camera because somebody's about to speak on the screen and we got to switch the camera view. But he was so in tune to making sure at that moment the live wasn't interrupted. Bishop Efion's connection was bad, and he had to figure out how to get that fixed. It was Bishop Efion in Africa. We could have chalked it up to being one person and said the connection was bad. Okay, no, it was one person who needed to be connected, and he went into this tunnel to get it done. So it was just about encouraging people to operate in their gifts. And when you saw those lines kind of starting to cross, and a little sense of frustration, all right, hey. Let's shift gears. He got it. You go back over here. Let's switch the camera too to help shift, so he could solve it. The funny part was when Brandon going to Sam. Brandon was in his tunnel. Here come Raymondo coming around the end and was like, "Did you think of this?" And that's all he heard. All Brandon heard was Raymondo say, "Did you think of this? Let's backtrack it." And when he heard Raymondo say that, it was like, bah, 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 bah. Okay, that's all we need to do. Zoom in, working together. I don't know what they're talking about. Like, let's get it done. It's fine. And Hayden is on the camera in the back. She's right next to the speakers. I mean, the speakers were loud, church loud. Mm-hmm. But making sure that the people at home could see the people in the congregation and could feel the energy in the room. Mm-hmm. And she, am I getting the right shots? You want to see something different? He was committed to making it happen, making sure the bishop was seen at the altar. Like those parts were important to her. Rod, the praise breaks. Rod was praising, getting his praise on, right? And at one moment, he almost got off kilter, right? But was making sure we see everything going on in the room to communicate to the people at home what was going on. What was going on? There'll be some viral praise break moments. I don't know if I want to talk about them, I might get in trouble. But there's some viral praise break moments, right? There are some viral praise break moments in the videos that Hayden captured. Right. If it wasn't for Hayden capturing that moment and seeing those viral moments, we would not understand the joy that certain church leaders feel in worship. And I think communicating and people at home seeing that joy and seeing that passion says to somebody, oh, wait a minute. That's the Zion Church I know and I like to see. It was just really good in terms of managing the team and having a chance. But I think, like you said, we're building on top of what has already occurred. Right. Morgan Tan paved a path. That's right. So you could have the chance to do this. Right. What we want to be able to do, like you said, in terms of other people. One of my goals was everybody know I'm a preacher, right? Everybody know I'm a pastor. Right. It's important for me to communicate at that meeting. Not only could I be here with a suit on down front enjoying worship, but I could have the suit on working really, really hard to help the viewer see something on the other side, but also inspire that person who's not a pastor, but is a preacher to use their gifts doing something. And if that's crawling around on the floor, jumping up and down, running back and forth. You do that to make sure God is glorified, to make sure Zion looks really, really good. We need all kinds of people. If you take pictures, if you know how to run a soundboard, whatever your gift area is, if you say, I don't know how to do any of this, but I want to learn, I'm willing to sit here like Major, Darin Little's son.
That's right.
That little dude, I'm telling you, in another year, I'm going to be sitting back just watching him do his thing, because he was running the whole service. And that's what we want. Because, again, somebody did that for us. Somebody gave us a chance. Say, go give this little speech. Go do this little play. Come take these little pictures. And we thought it was insignificant, but now those lessons have positioned us to have an opportunity for great work. My wife says Maya takes pictures. She's trying to get her a job.
So listen, I'm gonna summarize for the media people on, because again, you came from the pastor aspect, so you gave us the theological explanation as to why we do everything. But from the media kind of breakdown practically, right? We had the team lead, right, DeAndre, or the director of the production. Then he was able to identify his assistant director / live streamer / IT / AV switcher. All of that, right, was in Brandon Smith, who's right on the stage in the back with him. So these two people are balancing about 4 different jobs, right? Y'all hear what I just said? Y'all, and I know everybody's they do church on this thing. I know if y'all on this live video, then you understand the fact that one person is doing about 5 different jobs. That's what still happened during the Connectional Council at the highest level, but we had professionals that were actually operating in that space, and they were getting the job done. Then we had cameras that were from the switcher going to SDI cords out to 3 different locations. One was front of the house, that was with Hayden to get the reaction shot back at the crowd. We had 4 cameras actually, so we had 2 in the middle where Brother John Butler was. I was about to make him a reverend, even though he does preach all the time. Brother John Butler was, and he was operating our tight and wide shot of the main shot, so you can switch back and forth at the drop of a dime. And then we had a fill shot over on the left that was able to give a profile of the pulpit and also some cutaways as well. And that's what Reverend Rod Josie was operating as well. So 4 cameras, 3 operators, 1 live stream / AV / IT / AD, all in the back. And then Reverend DeAndre directing and managing with headsets on all of these people at the same time. Did I summarize that right?
And doing ProPresenter.
And doing ProPresenter, right? Yeah. Forgot the AV aspect to make sure that the ProPresenter was live. Might not have been live. Well, it was. We did see it on the worship service, but definitely for the runs in the room, they needed to have that confidence that everything was on the screen. Then we had to get confidence monitors for our pulpit, and everything was displayed lovely. So all of that was being managed by Reverend DeAndre James. And one more addition to that. Remember I said we hired 2 companies. Can y'all take me through that, and then we're going into Reverend Brown about the StarCast?
Yeah, so we had the photographer, and then we had an outsourced sound company. 2 marvelous Christian humans. I got fussed at a little bit working because I leaned a little bit to my pastor side while working. Situation happened, and I said, "Let's pray." I got blasted because I probably should have been working. But we had a great opportunity to make a connection with a human. And that's kind of a balance you got to make sure you kind of figure out to always respect your leader. But sometimes you might have to shift in your role for the on-moment responsibility and trust your leader. You can ask for forgiveness in that moment. And I think DK definitely understood the moment after he kind of saw the pictures and kind of understood what was going around in the background. But we hired him and hired a photographer. It was difficult to manage additional people who did not understand completely us. What I mean by that, we got really comfortable working together because we all had a very baseline understanding of what should happen next, right? We knew at 10 o'clock, 14 men, God rest Bishop Hines' soul, 14 men, 14 bishops were going to walk down the aisle at the same time. We knew that. We knew where they were going to be. Photographer didn't know that. Right. The sound guy didn't understand the nuances and the complexion of the room at that moment when the organ should have been louder and more out front, where Reverend Bird's microphone should have been ready. A Crystal Bailey, a Richard Terry would have known that, would have been ready for it, right? Those kind of things that we have in our bag that understands the A.M.E. Zion Church. So getting them to understand how certain things worked was a little difficult. Church always says, you can't walk here, you can't walk there, you can't stand here. Our photographer had a basic understanding of church, so he knew some things could not be done, right? So he was kind of a little hesitant in the initial phases of getting photos. We had to let him know the only place you can't go are these places. Other than that, get the pictures of the people and the conference. And once he understood that and was able to be removed a little bit from his already understanding of church, period, he was able to get some better shots from us. So again, we have people in our church though, who can be managed differently than they were. Having an understanding with Raymondo and Brandon and Reverend Sam, when you have this baseline understanding of how things are supposed to run, then you're able to be a bit more successful. I think that helped us tremendously. We understood theoretically what was supposed to occur. We just had to add a little bit of something else to accomplish something else. So the baseline understanding was there. Even with the bishop's photos, we had a baseline understanding of what was supposed to occur, and that helped out to get things done.
Yeah, we'll circle back on the bishop's photos a little bit later. We have we're at 8:40 now. Don't want to go too much further past 9 o'clock, but all right, Reverend Brown, thank you for that, Reverend DeAndre. Reverend Brown, take us through the StarCast, okay? Give us all of the different responsibilities of all of the people that were on your team, and then just give us an explanation of execution and things of that, and then how it was for you to manage that.
Absolutely. Well, it was definitely an honor and a privilege to manage such a great group of hardworking people. And I wouldn't even necessarily say manage, because they just worked so well together, and everything just came to them second nature. So I more so just convened everybody around a purpose, and that was to get across to everybody that was watching who we are and what we do and why we do what we do. And considering the fact that we have maybe at max a 3-hour window to do that, you have to identify, which we already did, who's the people that can pull this off. And I think I'm so glad that our CCO and chief editor and DeAndre are so well connected, because just to be honest, this team was assembled. It was like, okay, Sam, this is who we have, and we trust that you all are going to make it happen. And it just did. And it was great. So identifying the personalities in our denomination who can convey that message and explain it in such a concise and clear way that people will understand and leave after viewing this virtually, like I said, what we are and who we are and why we do what we do. But also layered with that, you have to understand those very same personalities are actively engaged in this meeting. So they are busy themselves. And so you have scheduling matters that have to occur before we get to the Connectional Council. But if you know anything about the council, you know this church, schedules change. Meetings get moved, flights get delayed, etc., etc. And so you have to really, in the moment, put together a program that can flow to where your persons who are hosting, and I will say again, big shout out to Ashley Charles and Brandon Fisher for doing a phenomenal job. Also to our new entertainment and the arts editor, Reverend Deirdre Parker Rowson, who did a phenomenal job connecting with the attendees, just persons who may not be in any leadership role, but was able to still bring them on and show everyone church truly a world church. And we had some fun with being able to share and have people to share their knowledge about church history, church doctrine. People were able to see some things that maybe they need to brush up on, so that was really, really great. It's always good to hear from the presidents of our chief institutions. Livingstone College, Hood Seminary was represented. And we have to bring all of those people on, and at the same time being able to know what is coming to us from inside the ballroom, because all of this StarCast is a build up to the main focus of the moment, which is worship. And so the reason we're coming together, the reason we're all coming together is to worship and to glorify God. And so the StarCast, all of those preliminary things are pointing to that moment. We're building up the interest, the excitement, all leading up to the worship experience. And that's where Dana and Raymondo were really, really key because they were in tune to what was going on in the ballroom when it was time to show the people who were watching what's going on in the ballroom, but then at the same time keeping our host and our outlying reporters supported and confident in keeping those conversations flowing with the subject that they were speaking with. So Raymondo and Dana were crucial components in making sure that this was able to be pulled off. Brandon and Ashley, as I said, their knowledge of the church, and once again, them being engaged in this meeting as well. Ashley is third vice chair for discipline and codification. Brandon is on a few boards himself. Expecting a baby. So everybody has all type of things going on, and they availed of themselves, availed of the knowledge they have of this church, and just was able to share the best parts of their personalities with us, and it was just really amazing to see it happen. And I think, and if I may go here,
go ahead. I don't know where you're going, but go there.
When DeAndre mentioned Dr. Tan, and how he laid and paved the way and laid some groundwork for this to be done, and we're thankful that the board of bishops gave us the resources to be able to do this, and just to see just the history of the Star of Zion. One of our greatest longest serving bishops, Bishop William Jacob Walls, was editor in chief for the Star of Zion. It was from that position he was elevated to the office of bishop, one of the youngest to ever be elected to the episcopacy. And now the Star of Zion, as we are approaching our 150th year, will be 150 years in 2026. A birth right out of the New Bern Church, St. Peter's Church in New Bern, North Carolina. Now this is what we have taken. This is the level that communications in the Star of Zion has taken the A.M.E. Zion Church to. I don't know if everyone has been made aware, but also at this Connectional Council, a major thing happened with our department itself. In real time, while we're showing to the church these new capabilities that we have, the Connectional Council approved to make A.M.E. ZTV an official publication of the A.M.E. Zion Church. So now we have a digital platform that members can subscribe to that will be the repository for all of our digital and virtual experiences. And so we're so thankful for that opportunity and to see the Star of Zion going here. And also, yes. Oh, I would be remiss. Reverend Lawrence Gansey.
That's right.
Liberty Hill.
That's right.
A.M.E. Zion Church in South Carolina Conference. Thank you so much for really being in the sanctuary and just really bringing that worship experience, keeping that energy going for the StarCast portion of that. And he was just the perfect personality.
Really was. Yeah.
Really to have him. Major crossover. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I
No,
was
I
just
was going
going
to say some one
yeah.
where we were getting ready to interview Bishop Proctor and Bishop Thompson for the Starcast
Right.
that evening. Bishop Proctor's our new president of the Board of Bishops. And we were, setting things up, getting Ashley and Brandon prepared to interview them outside in the ballroom, and right on the cuff, and it was a great decision. Nobody thought of it. DeAndre just says, "Why don't we just do it here?
Do it right here. Right.
Do it right here in the room." Right here in the room, and it was just something that was really, really great, and to be able to see the team come together and shift and be able to have those crossovers and nobody get offended, nobody, be in their feelings, no egos get in the way. It just really shows what you can do when nobody really cares who gets the credit. Let me say it that way.
That's right.
We just really care about glorifying God. So
listen, so all right, so here we go. Again, you came from the pastor perspective. Let me bring it from the media perspective as well, communications wise. So you as the team lead, you had a stage manager in Dana Moore, right?
Yeah.
Who was able to organize all the personalities, who was
Yeah.
able to take your vision, because you worked with her to develop the programming ahead of time, to say this is a framework of the programming. These are specific areas of and blocks of time that we're going to isolate for these specific things to happen. So it wasn't an accident that we had Reverend Deirdre Parker having her side interviews. And then at that exact moment, we were switching the person who was sitting for the interviews with our guest hosts. And then we would come back to them for a longer segment, right? All of that may not have known who the person was going to be, but we definitely had in mind that things like that were going to happen in the future. Also, the Reverend Gansey aspect of it, that's when your energy is flowing, the communication, the equipment is all working, and you're able to, at that point, be creative on the fly. And that's when you injected that aspect in it. So you had your stage manager, and you as the team lead. Then you had, again, a hybrid dude, and it could be a dudette, for lack of a better word. It could have been anybody in that position, but somebody that just gets the whole aspect and is looking at it from a technical standpoint to say, you need this camera here, you need that camera there. And then even me on the back end, I'm telling him as far as microphones, how talkbacks need to go, how everybody needs to be able to hear each other and also hear the programming on the screen and watch the programming that's inside the book. Because these people that were the guest co-hosts, Ashley and Brandon and everybody else, they couldn't see if there was not for an actual monitor that was outside in the hallway, in the credenza that you all set up, where they can see the actual ballroom, anything that was going on in the ballroom, right? So they're witnessing this outside and they're able to hear it as well. So talking through all of that, getting all that technology together, that was the Reverend Raimondo Brady and his wife. Phenomenal job of being able to take my vision and then being able to execute it on hand, have all of the graphics, have the dimensions, work within StreamYard. We use StreamYard, y'all. That's what we did. We pumped the feed within there. We were able to bring another feed that the Reverend DeAndre, James Daniels, and Brandon and everybody inside, we took a feed from out in that ballroom and piped it outside so that they have it for the Starcast and they can see it on the monitor. So it was the same feed. It originated from the ballroom, came outside, and then we just added to it with the Starcast in the hallway. And then, just the synergy that we had with our hosts and everything like that. It wasn't just slapped together. Like, we did put together a lot of this ahead of time. The pre-production was key. The implementation was key as well. And then for our last few minutes here, I just want to speak to the debriefing process. Because as I, now I'm traveling to church virtually for right now, but sooner or later I'll be getting out and actually doing workshops all over the denomination. One of the key things that I love to tell people as I'm consulting with them and they're building their brands and they're talking through how they need to communicate to their following and to their parishioners and things of that nature is always go back and look at what you did, right? And see how it performed, and then be able to debrief with the same key people in a a decent amount of time. Like, don't let the time go too far away from the event. And what did we do on just yesterday, right? We just had our debriefing with the entire team. Of course, you guys were there. I had to hop off for a second, but you guys wrapped up the meeting for me, and we got that feedback. So then we can be better in the future. So then we can work with better equipment and get all the feedback from everybody's angle, because everybody has different perspectives to the production, and we're able to then do better in the future with the allotted space that we've been given. So speak to the debriefing process. Speak to how we want to move forward with programming more and more like this in the future. And then any final thoughts that you want to give. We want to go too far over our hour time limit. Anything that you want to give as far as media, and then how this looks for the A.M.E. Zion Church. Let's start off with Reverend Brown. Oh, I'm sorry. You were speaking already, Reverend DeAndre. Go ahead.
So I'll jump in. First, from the technical side, one thing I think most people probably did not see was the in-ear monitor system that we had going on. And if you're looking, local church, looking for an investment to say, how can my team work better in the church? Maybe walkie-talkie situation. If you have a larger situation, that in-ear monitor system was critically amazing. It worked really, really. We failed a couple of times. I told Lauren, stop shouting so much in the sanctuary because you're going to things come out your ears. And that actually happened, right? But that in-ear monitor system was able, so people can talk from a control booth to the actual participants, no one else not knowing, and the person didn't have a responsibility to speak back. They could just listen. That dramatically helped. The other piece is that deep, and going, I think Reverend Burr is kind of saying, get back to the history, right? This deep passion we have inside of us to honor the trust the bishops have for us, to honor that continual trust that the bishops have and responsibility for the church, and then for them to say, we trust you to carry this out. And that's not something we take for granted. It's something we don't honor, and that's special. And we attempt to live up to that, not to only honor the humans of bishops, but to honor that office and that chief responsibility to our church to do it right and be committed to doing it right, whatever that means. And having the resources and tools, we've learned to make it happen with whatever we got. But I thank God that the Lord is blessing us to have better resources to produce a better opportunity and to do great work. I think last piece, and I'll be done for final comments, you ought to be celebrated, Mr. Editor, because every time people from the team talked, it wasn't about us. Everybody that said something deflected it back to deflected it back to Darin Kent, deflected it back to the person who's over this team, and made it very, very clear. This is not my team. This is the editor's team, and I have this responsibility and trust, and we appreciate the work that you're doing in this church and the hard work you're doing to move the church forward. And it's because of the leadership that you're giving that's making a lot of this stuff happen, and we're able to work because you trust us enough to do it, and we're humbled to work together. And it's exciting to make it happen. I wish we had time to talk about some of the background stuff in terms of like that Episcopal photo that will be coming out soon. Talk
a little bit, though. We got a little bit of time. That's it. We could bleed over a little bit.
The bishops are just so great, right? To see them relaxed for a moment, it's just a cool experience just to see them getting ready for stuff when they can just banter one with another, laugh one another. Like, we understand the order of seniority in our church, right? We understand it. We live by it. I thought it was only, when we out there in service or when they about to line up. No. When it's time to take the picture, the bishops came in order. In seniority, they came in order. Started from the president, then it went to the senior, and went down the line. I'm like, what is this? Y'all do this normally? And it was just so cool to watch because it wasn't anything new to them. It was regular. This is how we do what we do, right? And how we banter one with another. And it reminded you of the human nature of them, but also reminded them, again, of this trust thing. They were asking us questions about what should be done and how it should be done. And they also were not afraid to correct us if something was wrong. Right. And I appreciate them that they're like, hey, no, You're about to get checked right now. I don't care who you are. You about to get checked. And when you get checked, yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You shut up. And it was cool to experience. It really was.
Yeah. Listen, excellent. Well said. I'm not going to piggyback too much on that. The trust has been given. We've been fortunate to be in this space, and this appointed time has been given to us to try to do what we can to advance the church forward. Reverend Brown, final thoughts. Again, take us through anything that you want to say. Just wrapping it up for Star of Zion aspect of everything.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this was, like I said, a phenomenal opportunity. In retrospect, when we had our debrief, we probably could have stood one more person on our team. And like I said, Raymondo and Dana did an excellent job. But I just think they maybe would have not sweat as much had we had one other person there. They really worked their butts off. But if we had one other person on our team just to kind of help be that runner to go and get the people who are going to be interviewed, bring them on, kind of prep them, get them ready, get them mic'd up, get their earpieces in. That way Dana could be going from the anchor table to our outline reporter and making sure that those switches happen smoothly and are in sync. So it was just great to see the wealth of talent we have in the A.M.E. Zion Church. I will say I'm so excited about the A.M.E. ZTV. I mean, just the possibilities are endless. This is absolutely groundbreaking. We're the first institution of our kind to really have this platform and this streaming service once again. The A.M.E. Zion Church, the Freedom Church, and our official organ, the Star of Zion, is distinguished amongst publications once again. And so I just hope that people take advantage of it. Now we, like we were talking before, we just have to get some content together. So reach out to us. You have our contact information. You have an idea for a web series, an episode. I mean, I hope I'm not stepping too far out of my lane, Mr.
No, you're not.
If you have any type of idea, knowing who we are, knowing this is the church. Now, always be mindful of that. This is the church now. But anything, take advantage of this, Zion. The eyes, I'll end with this. Eyes have not seen. Hallelujah.
Amen. Lord, about to preach. Bring it on. See, y'all can't help but preach. This is a good thing I'm on here. We would never get through a media minds if it wasn't for me.
Yeah, but in all seriousness, if you have something that you want to get out there, a narrative, a story you want to get shared, we're the Freedom Church. That's what we're about. We have the platform to do that now. Let's use it. Let's take advantage of our own Zion. That's all I want to say. We have seen this past week that all that we've been through with COVID. I mean, think about it. This was really legit our first connectional meeting back.
It was, right.
Since we had our Board of Bishops meeting in Birmingham. Birmingham.
General conference, but
general conference, but from outside of that,
I understand. Yeah,
with our communications team, this is our first connectional meeting back, and we really knocked it out of the park. Praise be to God.
We did. And again, this is not about us. This is about the communications department of the A.M.E. Zion Church. We are identifying what that means, right? We're constantly pivoting. We're constantly reevaluating ourselves. We're constantly seeking suggestions about how this should look. We're not too puffed up. Myself, I have an open door policy right now. It's virtual at the current moment. I have to take care of my young ones and make sure that everything is safe. And I just came down with it, so I'm being even more safe. But please just reach out to me so we can start to get you included into this team, into this production process. Sam spoke about A.M.E. ZTV. He's spot on. Listen, this is coming. Please hear me that we're not just giving you lip service on this. We are just polishing it behind the scenes so that when we do unveil it to you all, that you'll have something to be proud of. So you'll have something that you'll want to subscribe to willingly. And that's something that you'll want to then share with other people inside our denomination and outside of our denomination. Programming, right? real legit programming that was from the past. So there'll be a nostalgic aspect to it where you'll be able to come on and look at things that you haven't seen in years or never even saw. And then things that are happening currently, and then being able to just witness it in an array of different ways, live and on-demand viewing, right? We'll be able to have drip settings. So just like you're binge watching your favorite show right now, you can see it all at one time if we choose to do so. So a series of 13 episodes of whatever it may be could be how we choose to unveil it, or it could be, hey, this comes out every Wednesday or every 2 weeks. And then it'll keep you engaged and want to just keep coming back for the next episode. So we're working through all of that. And we want your ideas right now. So Reverend Brown was spot on. He didn't overstep at all. This is that moment where you need to be thinking through what is something that has been inside me that I need to have birthed out in video format, in music and sound format as well. And then be able to get that into the hands of the communications department so that we can display our own, right? How-to videos, courses, any type of campaigning that might need to be done in the future. All of that you'll be able to find on A.M.E TV. It'll be the exclusive location for anything A.M.E Zion, and it'll be also a holistic experience for anything that you are trying to find just as an African-American Christian disciple going through this world. So it's not going to be something totality, like where it's just totally A.M.E Zion, but we'll be able to just find out good information for your health, for financial literacy, all type of things will be on there. We're open to all of it. So please reach out to me if you have ideas. If this is something that you're hearing for the first time, you're like, oh, I didn't know this was happening. If you know of somebody that could listen, that needs to hear what I'm saying right now and wants to get in the beginning stages of it, this is that moment. Reach out to me, cco@amezion.org with your ideas. And when we unveil this, we want to have you on that initial push to be in this space. So for the A.M.E Zion Church to cherish and to share. So listen, I'm going to give you all a special treat right now. This is raw, right off my computer, all right? But the pictures that Reverend DeAndre was alluding to, we're going to show you all a few of those right now. This is my desktop here.
Oh Lord, let us.
Let's see here. Oh wait, y'all can't even say this thing. What's going on here? Hold up.
I can only see a desktop, my guy.
Nah, that's not the whole desktop. Hold on, let me stop my screen. Let me share it. Hold up, share. Technical difficulty. All right, here we go. Here's the full screen here. All right, there we go. And then we put this up. Look at this. Look at our bishop here. Look at that. Woo! Y'all don't like that? Y'all ain't got no reactions on that? Come on, don't fret.
Just taking us back to the moment. Just taking us back to the moment.
They sharp.
That's sharp right there. Let me see a few more. Let me see a few more. We still got some editing to do. This is raw, so don't go screenshotting this and putting it up and stuff.
You know somebody gonna screenshot it later on.
I know they are. Why y'all gotta be like that? Look at that. Look at that. Come on, man. Come on. Wait, we gotta get the one where he's standing up. There we go. Look at it. Come on now. Look at Bishop Stars, man. Take you a few more of these. Look at it. Bishop Larte. Come on now. Come on now. We're doing it. We're stepping up the knot. We're gonna give these to our bishops. And look, this is not something that we're hiding, right? Like, too many times it's always been a secret. Can't give it out. Can't let people see it. Listen, we're going to give this to the bishops, and then we're going to also make this available on our website and on all places so you can get them, because y'all are using old pictures. Y'all need these pictures. There's a reason, a method to our madness. We offer pictures to the entire denomination on site, right? For you to be able to, Bird, he's crazy, to be able to get this to the to use this in your circle, so you can put this on your flyers now, right? Next time we do this, next time we come to an event, y'all see free pictures, go get you a free headshot. Use it. Y'all know y'all need them headshots, and we need them headshots so we can make better graphics and upgrade the quality across the board in our beloved denomination. So listen, try, please. I see I'm gonna have to trim this video later on because Reverend Bird is trying to screenshot some of these pictures that I was posting up there. He said, I tried.
Watch him. You gotta watch him.
I know, you gotta watch some of these faces.
I do want to say, and I know we gotta go, but really encouraging people in the church. If you have young people, teenagers, young adults looking for something to do, looking to engage, and you want to start a media ministry at your church, these kids, especially if they're under 10, under 12,
Right.
they've been using computers their whole life.
Right.
They've been stuck in the pandemic for 2 years straight using a computer. There's not much technology you have in your church that they don't know how to use. And they probably will know how to use it better than the majority of us. We're looking for young people to join the team. All of us are the same age. We need to get out of here soon. So we want to be able to raise up the next generation. We got 2. Well, you go, D got 4, I got 4. So we got some kind of a team, you know, but we definitely need more from the denomination to help us keep on moving forward and making it happen for our local churches.
Well, listen, I want to thank you both, not just for coming on today, but for being there as friends, as trusted advisors. I'm looking up to you all. Y'all have been doing this church thing, especially in Zion, much longer than me. And I look to y'all for a lot, and I appreciate your support to this point. And I know that the synergy that we have here is just going to overflow into the entire denomination. So publicly, I want to thank you all for showing up big time at one of our connectional meetings, and then being able to just be able to come on tonight and take us through the back end of how that really looks, and showing the support and guiding us through how this looks for our media people, right? So that they can kind of execute this on their own and have a framework and an idea of how to do something at this level moving forward. So kudos to you all, and thank you for being there in this space. Thank you so very much. Any last words, final words? Because if not, we out of here.
Thank you.
Love you all.
Love it. All right. God bless y'all. Y'all take care. This again has been Media Minds, and we are doing this every first Tuesday of the month. And it's going to be with me. I'm going to bring on special guests, and we're going to talk through media-related topics that are going to help you with your church, your brand, your organizations, anything that you need to give you practical tips, as well as just a philosophical kind of perspective on everything that you need media related. Okay. So again, cco@amezion.org. If you have any questions, if you need any comments, any critiques, or anything like that, please shoot them over to me about what this video was about, or anything that you might have, any questions that you weren't able to pose on this chat, just so that we can begin to build together and try to help everybody uplift the quality across the board for our beloved denomination, the A.M.E. Zion Church. We love you on today. I'm going to leave you with one kind of plug here, which is the fact that our bishop posters are on sale. This is the Star of Zion plug. That we're selling them for $19.99, $35, and $125 with an antique frame. Now, the $35 comes with a basic frame, and $125 comes with the one right to the left of it, that beautiful antique frame. I've seen it face to face now, and I'm just like, yeah, I need that in my office, in addition to you needing it in your space as well if you don't already have a frame. So again, take advantage of that. If you take out your phone, hit this QR code right here, it's going to hyperlink to exactly where you can buy on the amezionpublishinghouse.org, and then get your frame today. We are encouraging sales. Again, this all helps the communication department of the A.M.E. Zion Church, so we can do more and more programming, just like what you saw at Connectional Council. Thank you so very much for your time on this evening, and I look forward to seeing you on the next first Tuesday of the month. God bless you, and have a great night.